Patrick Baum, Salt Lake City. All right, it's about that time. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the chimes and mute the line.
All right. Charlie, you got me loud and clear?
Can hear you perfectly, Jedi.
All right, perfect. Well, welcome everybody to our Monday evening call. Excited about tonight's call. Really excited. For me, it's kind of going back a little bit. I'm really excited to introduce Nathan Ricks and Charlie Patterson. Nathan, for me, he's one of those people that has dramatically changed my life for forever. It was about 10 and a half years ago that Nathan started dripping on me just a little bit about Nu Skin and the biophotonic scanner that was coming out. They just secured the rights from University of Utah, and there was a lot of excitement and hype, similar to, I guess, an LTO. And Nathan was dripping on me at family parties, this and that, here and there. And finally, it was December of 2003 that Nathan was able to get through my thick skull and actually help me understand exactly what it was and where Nu Skin was going with the biophotonic scanner, and then onward and upward from there. And so, for me, I look back at that and realize and look at how Nathan approached me, and it's exactly how we say to do the business now. Nathan used the system, and that's exactly how I came in the business, was going through the system. And so, I owe a lot to Nathan Ricks. He's a person that I look up to as a father, and now actually a grandfather, and a husband to his wife, and just an overall outstanding human being. And so I'm excited to have him on the call tonight. And then also my partner in crime, Charlie Patterson, who I had a chance to meet about 9 years ago, and he too has positively impacted my life. And Charlie, just like Nathan, I used this system, had a weekly meeting at my home, set up folding chairs in the basement, pulled out an old white sheet, put it up on the wall, and did the 5-point presentation. And Charlie Patterson sat in my basement on the front row, and here he is today. Business partners and just an outstanding human being, somebody that I not only call a partner but also a friend, a brother. And so I'm really excited for all of you to have a chance to just dive into the heads of these two outstanding men that really, they know what they are doing, and they also are passionate about it, and they can lead you in the right direction. So, Charlie, are you there?
I am, Jed, and thank you. Thank you for those kind words.
Thanks, Jed. Love you, buddy.
You too. Yeah, very much. And good evening to everyone, and good evening, Nathan.
Good evening, Charlie.
Well, Nate, thanks for taking the time with us tonight. And for those of you that may not know specifically who Nathan is, I'll give you some of his stats from the company, just as edification, as Jed was saying about the system, so you guys know that what we're going to talk about in the means of inviting and promoting events, and what it means to really host an event, the expectations from the host and actually the person coming in, like Nathan is for his Southeast tour starting tomorrow morning. So Nathan is actually part of the $20 million circle, meaning that he's been paid in excess of $20 million with the company. He's been a team elite with the company for 25 years and is considered the leader of leaders, not just in our company, but in the industry for the results. And really his organization and ability to not only recruit leaders, but to develop leaders. And Jed and I have been the thankful products of working along with Nathan over the last 9.5 years. And so, Nate, this evening, being able to take this time, as Jed just said, to talk about how we were both introduced to the business by receiving an invitation to look at a company, and you've made the commitment to jump on the road in your own personal jet at your own personal expense to come visit 6 cities in the Southeast over the next 3 days. And so for anyone that doesn't know or isn't aware of that tour that's going on, so you know what we're specifically speaking of, Nathan's going to be in the following cities where all of the details are on oneteamglobal.com under the meeting section. So if you go to oneteamglobal.com, you're going to find the tour to consist of these cities. First, tomorrow at lunch is going to be in Mobile, Alabama, followed by an evening presentation in Orlando, Florida. The next day, a luncheon in Naples, followed by an evening presentation in Boca Raton, Florida, and then wrapping up the tour Thursday, a luncheon in Destin, Florida, and then the evening in Atlanta, Georgia area. And so, again, details on oneteamglobal.com. So, Nathan, if you wouldn't mind, as we get started, is there any other background and maybe your short story that you'd share with the listeners tonight for those who haven't met you, and then additionally that they can get a pulse on really how they're going to promote you for this impending event?
All right, great. Yeah, no, thank you, Charlie. It's great to hear Jed's voice too. You guys are a great team, and always enjoyed working with all of you. And I'm looking forward to this tour coming up in the next couple of days. One question people say is like, man, really, 24 years you've been doing this. I mean, really, you still want to go do that? And I still get excited every time I stand in front of a room. And the reason I get excited and the reason I get myself kind of amped up is because I ask a question at the very beginning of every presentation. I say, can you raise your hand or show me who's here for the first time? And as soon as those hands go up, I look through those hands and I pick 1 or 2 or 3 faces of those new people, and that is who I focus on for the next 55, 60 minutes. And it's my personal challenge to see if I can get them to exhibit the body language that says they are interested, engaged, staying awake, tracking what I'm saying, and nodding their heads. And so it's kind of a personal game, a little bit of a challenge for me to see if we can be compelling enough and tell a story that's simple enough and duplicable enough that people can see it, hear it, understand it, and be willing to talk about it with other people. So yeah, I'll be excited when I see you in any one of those cities. And if you were smart, which I'm sure you all are, then what you would do is when you've got people working and traveling on the road that can be effective, it's well worth your time just to say to yourself, who do I know that's within 2 hours of Mobile, Alabama? And who do I know that's within 2 hours of Orlando, Florida, or Naples, Florida, or Boca Raton, Florida, or Destin, Florida, or Atlanta, Georgia? And if you'll just track that schedule, and if you really were to be serious about it, then you would come up with either people you know or people who you know that know somebody that's within those circumferences of those cities, and you would then be able to issue invitations to them and just say, look, you got to go do this, attend this presentation. This guy's coming in. He's made more than $20 million doing this business. Not that many people have ever done that in this industry. And he's going to talk about freedom. He's going to talk about your future and how to secure it. And he's going to give you the hard, cold facts of life. So, and give you a plan to escape those hard, cold facts so that your future can be different. And that's why I keep doing it. That's what is, the core of it for me. That's what makes me passionate about what we do at the company, at Nu Skin. So everybody's probably seen the video, Art of Inviting, and that centers around 4 things that you think about in your mind when you're actually doing an invite. And the purpose of this call tonight is not to, teach you each one of those points in depth or anything, but I think it's worth noting that we want to be able to compliment people, all right? Talk about these 4 C's, okay? Compliment, create curiosity, control yourself, and then gain the commitment for whatever the action is you want them to do. And that action can be as simple as watching a short video clip. It can be as simple as, going to a website and going through some information, or even attending a presentation like one that you're doing in your home, like Jed described, or one that I would be doing as a guest speaker coming in from out of town, or somebody else who's a guest speaker. So there's always different events, different things that are happening, and you should have events that are happening every week in your business so you can advance your business every week. And as you go through the process of inviting people, think about those 4 areas, Is it a person that you can compliment? If it's not, you might want to think about not inviting them, because in our business we get to pick who we get to work with, right? Unlike most companies where you have to work with people that maybe you don't necessarily get along with, in our business we can pick who we want. So you want people that you could pay a sincere compliment to, and then you want to be able to create curiosity. And when we talk about creating curiosity, that is that you want to tell them enough to create the curiosity to get them to take action, to keep the commitment, which is attend the event, look at the website, watch the video, whatever it is, and not satisfy it. And the more you satisfy it by usually saying too much, the less the chance is that they'll actually keep the commitment. So what I do in my mind when I get to creating curiosity is I kind of think about 5, it's like another 5-point presentation in my head just on this second point of inviting, the second C. And so in my mind, I think about how I talk to somebody. And I say, all right, I call them on the phone after the small talk or the compliment. Then I just say, look, the reason I'm calling is I'm working on a new project. The name of the company is Nu Skin. That's number 2. So working on a new project, number 1, the name of the company is Nu Skin. They're launching the first ever genetic approach to weight management. It's never been done before. It's an absolutely huge problem. It's a half a $1 trillion market in just North America, and this unique approach is going to be huge. So I really didn't tell them the name of the product. I didn't tell them anything about it other than I just said it's a genetic approach to weight management. The market is absolutely massive. No one's ever done it like this, and it's going to be big. That's number 3. Number 4, I'm really excited about it. Number 5, when can I show it to you? And that's kind of an important question right at the end. When can I show it to you? And that denotes that you're going to get together with them, or you're going to show them something like on a Fuse meeting or online, or show it to them in person. And that's a better word, I think, for me than to say I want to tell you about it, because I really don't want to tell them about it right then and there. I'd rather get either an upline person on the phone if I'm going to have a 3-way, or put them on a small conference call, or put them on a Fuse presentation or a webinar of some kind where I can show them something and give them a little bit more of a presentation. When I'm doing the invite, the whole thing shouldn't be more than 3 to 5 minutes. As soon as I start into that, this little routine here, this little 5-point to create curiosity, I don't want it to go very long, because beyond 5 minutes, then that means you're talking too much and you're disseminating too much information. And when somebody says, so what do you mean, genetic approach to weight loss or weight management? They're not really wanting to know so much what that actually means. They don't want you to give them a scientific dissertation on, lean mass sparing diets or anything like that, right? What they're really saying in most cases, when most prospects ask a question, is they're really kind of saying, I'm a busy person. You're making a demand on my time. I don't have enough time anyway. Just give me a little bit more information so I can make a snap judgment and dismiss this demand that you're trying to make on my time. So whenever somebody asks a question, there's a standard response. And this is easy. Everybody can do this, so it's totally duplicable, okay? All you simply say is, you know what? That is a great question. The genetic approach to weight management. That's a great question, John. You know what? Would you please make sure you write that down, because I want to ensure that I will answer that when we get together, when I show it to you. I go, okay, fine. So what do you mean it's a new project? Is this like a new business for you? What is this all about? That is a great question, John. You know what? Would you please just make a note of that one too, because I want to ensure I answer that one too. Are there any other questions you have that you might want to just think of jotting down right now before you forget them? Because I've got to get on to my next call here. But let's make sure, when we get together for lunch, or I'm going to meet you at Starbucks at 9 o'clock, Thursday morning, let's just make sure when we have this little 30-minute get-together that, you've got all your questions ready to go. Okay, and I'll make sure I answer them all. And I want to do that where you can get the full explanation. You can see it. Sometimes they'll press you, and it's not that you have to play a big word game here, or that you have to remember all these phrases exactly. You're just trying to remember the framework, okay? And the key parts are that you're excited and you're definite in your commitment that you're moving forward in this new project, that maybe you can tell them you're looking for your friends or your team members that want to join you in the project, and that it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a huge project. It's going to be very successful, and people are going to do really well financially from doing it. People are going to make money in the process of building, a business to take advantage of this launch. So you can pick almost anything for that third item. That's your elevator pitch. That's your kind of your one line, your one phrase that you're using. So I'm working on a new project. That's number one. Name of the company is Nu Skin. We just tell them right up front because we're not hiding anything. We just tell them the name. They've got this amazing, product called the Pearls. It's the only product clinically proven to increase the elastin, the rubber bands in your face, so it doesn't sag, so it doesn't look like you're old anymore. And, patented, amazing product. You've got to see it. So, about it. The market is huge for products that are anti-aging products like this. When can we get together so I can show it to you? I'm working on a new project. Name of the company is Nu Skin. They've got the only device in the world that can tell you how fast you're aging on the inside of your body. It's called the Biophotonic Scanner. They've got 5 patents that nobody else has. It's an amazing technology that everybody needs to know about. I'm really excited about it, okay? When can I show it to you? Or when can I get you scanned? You just put your hand in front of this blue laser beam, takes 90 seconds, and you'll know how fast you're aging on the inside. You got to see this. So what works best, Wednesday or Thursday? Those are the times I got open. And then what do? Shut your mouth. Shut up. Don't say anything. What works best for you? Silence. Isn't that silence uncomfortable? Yeah, just let it go. Let it be there. Let them respond. What did you mean, Biophotonic Scanner? You know what? It's incredible. That's a great question. Just write that down, because when you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So is Thursday the best then? Can you make it then? You want to come here? You want me to come to your office? How do you want to do this? You got to see it. So that's kind of, one way to think about it in your head, right? Everybody got those 5 little things you just kind of think about. Working on a project, and the company's Nu Skin, and your little pitch. Number 4, you're really excited about it. Anytime you give more information, like the scanner, Pearls or something, you might say another 2 sentences. You've just deflated the curiosity. So you always want to just go back and whip it up one more time by saying, I am really excited about this. I'm doing this. Okay, and so all of a sudden now you're restating the commitment. You're generating energy again when you say that. That's number 4. When can we get together? Well, when can I show it to you? Number 5. So number 1 is complement 2, create curiosity. Get the curiosity as high as you can get it and keep it there. Don't give them any more information to satisfy it, to give them reasons to say, oh, I know all about that. Yeah, I've already heard about that. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. They don't know anything about what you're talking about, but they're trying to get rid of the demand on their time. So the less information that you give when you can't show it to them and all you're doing is just on the phone with them, the better off you are. That's why it's always a great thing to say, you know what, that's a great question. But you just remember that one, write that one down, and I'll make sure we cover all of that when we get together. You can't show them anything on the phone. Can you? Nope. So what you want to do is you've got to sit down with people. This business, ladies and gentlemen, it happens belly to belly, face to face, across the kitchen table, in your living room, over a table at Starbucks or some restaurant somewhere. That is where this business really happens. One-on-one, 2-on-1, for long distance, 1 or 2 people, maybe 1 or 2 in the upline, doing a little Fuse conference for 2 or 3 people at a time, and doing them every day. Constantly recruiting every day. That's your whole business. Your first 5 years, 99% of your time should be spent inviting and recruiting and presenting. That's it. That's the business. So you got to get good at it, and everybody on this phone can become really, really expert at inviting. And it's like an art form. That's why we call it the art of inviting, because you get better at it, and every person's different. Every circumstance is a little bit different. Sometimes you deal with people a little bit more firmly, and sometimes you're a little more lax, And you'll get to the point in this inviting thing where you'll start to be able to read people. It's almost like you almost know what they're going to say before they say it, and you'll get really, really good at it. And it doesn't mean that you'll get everybody. You never will. In fact, you won't even get the majority of people. That's just the name of the game. It's just the way it is. But you'll get better at increasing your percentages as you acquire the skills of inviting. And those percentages will go higher, which means that you'll need to work through less numbers of contacts to get the same number of presentations. And you get so good at doing presentations and asking good questions and becoming a good listener, you'll get so good at that you'll be able to actually increase your sponsoring percentages from the number of presentations that you'll do. So in short, the more skill sets that you acquire in this process of inviting and then presenting and listening and so forth and following up, the more you understand those pieces and the greater skill set you develop in those areas, the higher your percentages go, the faster you're going to be able to identify and create leaders, and the faster you're going to build your business. So, Charlie, maybe that's more than you wanted, but, number 3, control yourself. You just tell them, that's a great question, write that down. So you're disseminating no more information. You're just controlling yourself. Control yourself, control yourself. Don't tell them everything. Don't vomit on them. What do you mean genetic approach to it? Well, didn't you understand about Euclidean clusters? And don't you know we got heat maps? And don't you know that when we have this heat map, we can match you up with the 4th heat map down, and then it'll actually change your gene expression so you actually burn fat up. Don't do any of that. If you start doing that, just slap yourself, okay? Because you're throwing up on them, and you're going to ruin it. And they're going to go, what are you talking about? What do you mean genes? What do you mean clusters? What do you mean heat maps? What do you mean? All of a sudden now you're into like a 15-minute conversation, and you're not a scientist, and you're trying to act like a scientist, and it's not going to come off well. So don't do it. 4th, commit. Commit them to do it. When they say, okay, Thursday's cool, then you go, okay, look, this is important to me. This Nathan Ricks guy is only coming in town like once or twice, actually probably once a year in my city. I get him about once a year, maybe every 2 years. And I've only got 10 spots in this room, and I'm assigning all of you 10 spots in every one of the meetings right now. Okay, everybody here's got 10 seats, and that's it. You can't bring any more. Okay? So that's all you get. Now you can tell them the truth when you get on the phone, and you tell them I've only got 10 spots in this meeting. All right? And you tell them I'm going to fill them all up. And if for any reason you're not going to be able to make it, I need a minimum 24-hour notice. You need to call me and tell me. These people are on the end of the phone going, man, like you're really serious about this, If you are serious about it and you act serious and you treat it like a business and you treat the commitment serious, then they're going to treat it serious. If you don't treat it serious and you're like, hey, if something comes up, that's just cool. Don't worry. I got plenty of time. I'm doing this full time. I don't even have a job. You realize how stupid that sounds? All you're saying is, my time's not worth much, and, you can stand me up if you want. So what you got to say is, you know what, I'm really super busy with this, and I'm cranking this thing, and it's going really fast, and I've got a lot of demands on my time, so I got to know you're going to be there, okay? So you got it written down right. You're not going to forget right. It's in your phone right. Great. Okay, I'm going to see you there. Okay, and that's it. And sometimes, if somebody blows it once, then the second time around, you might want to even get this aggressive with them. You might want to say something like, last time we booked this thing, and then you didn't show, and you wasted my time, and I'm busy with it, and I can't have that happen again. So I'd rather have you tell me no right now that you're not going to show up than having you tell me yes or just telling me what you think I want to hear, and then you just don't show up. You blow it off. Now that's pretty aggressive and that's pretty direct. But, sometimes you need to be that direct with people. If you know they've got a history of being a little flaky, then you got to really pin them down, get a commitment and, ask them to keep the commitment. And anyway, so compliment, create curiosity, control yourself, get a commitment, and learn to be a master inviter.
Well, Nathan, I was, absolutely so grateful that I'm recording this for future listeners because of the pearls that you shared and the way that you delivered it as well. And, Jed spoke about the system that you used in bringing him into the business and then the system that he followed with the art of inviting. that we all refer to as System 7. And I love how you landed on the goals. I mean, you gave us, we can bring no more than 10 people, and so we can only have 10 people. So those are very precious seats. And we know that in order to have a successful event, it requires us having a goal. In order for us to get somewhere, we have to know where we're going. And then we actually have the list of our contacts, the people that we want to be at the event, the people, as you said, Nathan, the people that you want to be around, the people that you have the ability to compliment because you think positively about them. And then the inviting, which you just gave great direction on. And I'm sure all of our listeners will go back and listen to those word tracks so they can apply to their business literally tonight in their inviting for the tour and tomorrow for upcoming events. So that will allow us to then turn it over to you, Nathan, to do the heavy lifting in those presentations. And for all of our listeners, those that have had a Nathan Ricks experience in an event and those who have not, my experience of Nathan is that wherever Nathan is, the business is growing. Wherever Nathan is, the people that have individuals in the room and that have recruited up, who have looked and said, okay, who are the people that are more successful than me? And those are the individuals that I need to put in the room with Nathan because of his success and his background and his ability to communicate where Nu Skin is now and where it's going. And if we allow Nathan to do the heavy lifting, as he does, and he's so passionate and skilled at it, then our business will grow. And there's that direct correlation that I've learned, that when Nathan offers the opportunity to host him, probably just like you, I get a little nervous. Correct, I get a lot nervous because I know that comes with responsibility. And, Nathan, we speak to, this group and our teams about leadership development and believing strongly that there's two components of leadership development, within events. And one of those is hosting your upline coming into an area. And the other piece of leadership development that, you've gone through for the last 24 years is actually coming to work with your team who has made the commitment to host you. So do you mind speaking to, the expectations that to manage expectations? It really is helpful for us to know what our upline's expectations are when they come to town. So for all of us, what is it that you expect when you entered into these rooms for these events, to justify your efforts and your time and your energy away from your family to come out and help us with the business? What is it that's going to make an event, that you walk away and you say, wow, that was a great event, and I want to come back to this city again?
Well, for me, Charlie, there's a bunch of, components that go into making a successful event, hosting a successful event. And one of those is the venue. That's kind of right off the bat an obvious thing. You want a venue that speaks to the quality and the level of cachet, I guess is, for lack of a better word, of Nu Skin. And when I will into a town and somebody goes, yeah, man, we're so excited to have you, and they take me down to the Veterans of Foreign War Lodge or something, not to say that those aren't some nice ones some places, but if they take me down to some stinky little room and, the lighting's horrible, or they put me in a restaurant for a luncheon and it's open to the rest of the restaurant and there's like so much noise that you're screaming to try to have the guests hear you in your little room and they're distracted, and, luncheons are a whole different thing. I mean, luncheons can be super powerful because there's a whole level of people that usually are on the more successful side economically that may not have the evening to give up. Either they got families, they got kids in sports or, events going on, dance, whatever, and, these are dads or moms that work all day. They want to get home. They want to be with their kids, but they got to eat lunch, and they're away from their kids anyway at lunch. And sometimes luncheons are, like, if they're done right, I've done luncheons of over 250 people. The organizers sell a table of 10 to one of the distributors. The table is paid for up front. The distributor goes and gets his 10 guests, gets the 10 invites all done, okay? And they make sure they get those taken care of. They get every one of those seats filled up. They're not going to waste their money. They're going to call these people. They'll probably charge them for their lunch and say, look, you got to eat lunch anyway. This guy's coming to town, Charlie Patterson. He's former pro wakeboarder. Guy's transitioned to this business. He's killing it, top level in this company, and making things happen. You don't want to miss Charlie's presentation, or Jed Knight, or, whoever it is that's coming into town, right? And so you can say to him, you got to eat lunch anyway. So it's 1 hour. Come over, check this thing out, listen to what this guy's got to say. I am totally pumped about this. The products are amazing. The company is incredible. I'm doing it for sure. No question about it. You need to come take a look at it, okay? And sometimes I've said to people, they go, oh, come on, really? I don't want to go check. I don't want to get pitched on some deal, And you go, look, I understand you want to get pitched on some deal. I wouldn't even invite you if I didn't think it was an incredible deal, all right? Say, look, come do the lunch. Give me 1 hour of your time. If you're not interested at all when this thing finishes, I'll never mention it to you again. Done. You have to worry about it, okay? And sometimes, I get that aggressive with people. So luncheons can be amazing, okay? The results can be really amazing. You give a really straightforward business presentation, standard 5-point, and just be aggressive and direct with them and let them know that, you're going to get them in and out of there in an hour, and keep your word. And at 1 o'clock, shut your mouth, be done, close them, turn them loose to talk to their hosts for just a couple of minutes, and they're out of there. They get back to the office and they go do what they got to do. So those can be really, really effective. Evening meetings can be as effective or more so. Evening meetings sometimes are larger, should be larger. There's a bigger pool of people that are available to come during that time frame. So you just invite to whatever you got going on in your town. When I think about successful events, I want a good-looking venue. It's high class. It's not dirty, dingy, run down, broken down on the outside. Dated, old. Not the place to be in town. Everybody knows the place not to be in town. And some people are so cheap they think, well, you know what? I don't know that I'm going to really be able to cover this room, so. I don't know. I want to spend another $200 on that room to have the right room and the right venue, and I'll just save that money. And this room will do. It'll be okay, but it's not okay. And in my case, in particular, I spend about $2,500 an hour flying my jet around. So if I spend 3 hours getting to Mobile tomorrow, when I walk in the room, I'm $7,500 into the meeting. And if you're saying, well, I wanted to save $200, I'm probably not going to be that happy about it, considering my investment to come do the meeting for you. So think about those things, and it doesn't have to be a person on his own plane. If Charlie Patterson flies in and he just spent $800 on an airplane ticket, and he's going to spend $150 on a hotel room that night, he's into your meeting $1,000. So do the venue right. Don't screw up the venue. The venue itself will hurt you in inviting. If it's a dingy, stupid meeting place, and you tell somebody, okay, so they're committed to come, and you go, so it's going to be down at Joe's Bar and Grill in the back room, that stinky little room in the back. Yeah, that's where we're going to be. Okay, it'll be great. What did you just do to the whole thing? The whole thing you just set up. It's like the guest was like, Joe's Bar and Grill, seriously? Holy smoke! This is probably not something I want to waste my time on. So that shoots a lot of people in the foot. They don't even realize why. The pre-meeting, the meeting, and the post-meeting. We could spend a whole hour on those 3 points. The pre-meeting is the meeting room is clean, it's set up, it's in advance, it's organized. There's badges for guests and distributors up front. Everybody knows what the costs are. There's a team that has put together any displays for product. The room's been set up. It's been checked for sound, for temperature, for the visuals. The PowerPoints or whatever we're using have been checked. Everything's working. Everybody's with a smile. The dress is business. It's not cut-off jeans and garbage-looking stuff and people that are dressed ridiculous and T-shirts, okay? This is a business, and so we dress up like it's a business. And then the meeting starts exactly on time. We don't sit and go, well, I know there's like 5 other people that said they would be here. Let's just give them 10 minutes. They just are caught in traffic. No, we never penalize all the people that made the effort to be there on time for the people that couldn't get their lives organized to do that same thing. And so we start exactly on time every time. And people will start to get used to that. They'll expect that. If you start 10 minutes late, they'll get used to starting 10 minutes late. Then you start 20 minutes late. Then you start 30 minutes late. Then you blow up your whole meeting. Then the people say, you know what, they just waste my time every time I go there. So you must start exactly on time every time. And then when the presentation is done, it's a 5-point presentation. We always use the standard presentation when it's an opportunity meeting. We have testimonials arranged in advance, and testimonials are maybe the most important part of the meeting because the testimonials are real people from the local area that validate what the guest speaker just said. And so that is all done, and it's all done within 1 hour. We finish the meeting, and now the most important part begins. That's the post-meeting. The music comes back up like it was in the pre-meeting, although low enough that people can still converse and talk over the music without straining or yelling. And this is where the closing happens. And the distributors in your area should have been trained that this is how we close. We ask for the order. We ask people what their level of interest is. And we ask them if they're interested in doing the business or if they're interested in product or what they are interested in. And, you know, we turn to them and say, was that incredible or what? Can you see why I'm so excited about this? And their answer is going to be, yeah, I see, yeah. Or they're going to say, absolutely. And you say, you know, so let's get you started, you know. Let's get 3 of those packages. Which ones do you want? You see how I'm just assuming that they're going to want them? I'm not saying, well, what do you think? You know, I mean, did you think it was, like, interesting? Or do you think you want to do it maybe? You don't act like that. You don't act weak and wimpy. You're definite. You've already told them you're doing it no matter what. And you say, look, I want you on my team. You get it? You understand? Let's get you started. Which 3 packages do you want? You know, we've got all the upline here. You've met all the team. It's a great team here. We're having fun doing this, and this is our ticket. This is our exit strategy. This is how we're going to, you know, escape working for the man for the rest of our lives. And you just get them going now, okay? You know, sometimes they'll legitimately say, look, I really have got to make sure I trick this out with my spouse. That was like a mistake you probably made in the inviting. In the inviting, it's really, really good to say, look, bring your spouse, get a babysitter, you know, do whatever you got to do, but make sure you get your spouse there. Then you eliminate that whole objection. Well, I got to go talk to my wife. No, your wife's right here. What do you guys think? Okay, you're in it. You get it. Let's go. And, you know, a lot of times it's great to have the spouse because the husband who has never been all of a sudden sees this business, and they go, holy smokes, that makes some sense. I understand why she's doing that. And sometimes, you know, the wife who's been reluctant comes in, all of a sudden they see business or they see product, and they go, I get it. I see why you're doing this. So imperative to get the spouse or the partner every time you can, okay? So you do that, and then, you know, that post-meeting is get them done and get it taken care of, and everybody knows there's a standard weekly meeting. Everybody knows when they can invite, how they can invite, what they invite to, and everybody's willing to invest and pay their own way, you know, and pay for entrance into the meeting. We establish a meeting fee based on the area that's sufficient to cover the cost of the room. Nobody should be coming out of pocket for those. People make commitments to attend. So, Charlie, that's what I kind of look for when I'm going in.
Well, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, that nailed it on the head, Nathan, and I know that great value in our leaders hearing this and for their own sake of traveling to work with their team, and then those that are hosting, and especially for this week. You know, one thing that I'll just comment on where we got coming up is it's an impending event. And Nathan said, you know, most of these areas he's coming into once a year, once every 2 years with his business schedule and his global organization. So, you know, we don't know if and when Nathan will ever come back. And just to say it again, where he is, people make money because their business grows. And so there, you know, you act like there's no tomorrow, as we know from the scrolls that we're going to work as if this is the last day that we have. And this is the last time that Nathan is coming to visit. And just follow the system, as Nathan said.
Charlie, in closing, you know, one last thing. There's
Please.
nothing more disappointing than you stand up and you say, so can I see the hands of who's here for the first time? And it's very telling how well people were trained to invite and how much inviting they have done or, in that case, not done. And when there's only a couple of hands out of a room of 30 or 40 people, you know, we don't need to go preach to the choir, okay? The choir is involved, okay? And, yes, we are recommitting new distributors when they hear it again. They understand it better. They're learning. They're getting little pieces, little word tracks, little phrases, little ways to say things. They're picking up on posture and all kinds of things, you know, that they capture out of those meetings. So it's always a great training event for people that are already in the business, and we do want them there. But the primary objective of all the travel and all the work is to have somebody come in from out of town that can be the out-of-town expert that people can listen to and can really hammer at home, who can do the heavy lifting, as Charlie said. And it's really disheartening when you stand up and there's just a couple of guests, and you're like, really? And what were all the rest of you doing the last 2 weeks since you knew we were coming? Obviously, nothing. You're just kind of belonging to a church. You're coming to church and sitting there to hear the sermon, but this isn't church, guys, okay? This is a business. And the primary objective is new people in the room. Whenever it's a very successful meeting, there's 2/3 of the room are guests. 2/3. And that means that distributors are working and they're inviting and they're following the protocol. You can start about 2 weeks out. You're going to have your most effective inviting starting around 7-8 days out right up to the event. Sometimes you're 2 weeks out, people, they just don't feel like they can commit a full 2 weeks out. But I would be seriously inviting at 10 days on, and I'd be telling people this is the venue, this is the time, this is the day, and I would make sure you are doing that every day, and you're getting commitments, and then you're following through with people. And, sometimes you can even meet with them and get them signed up before the event, and they're going to be there with 5 guests. Always be looking for the next step. How can you do it faster? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? So that's what I'm always asking myself. How can I do this better? How can I do it faster? How can I accelerate my business? How can I move this person forward quicker? When I come in and you guys agree to host, I know there's pressure. I like that. I like you being under pressure, because what that means is you wouldn't have taken that much energy, action, or activity without that impending event. And that's to help you move your business forward. It doesn't really do much for me, okay? So that's the process.
Well, Nate, we are down to the last final hours. Literally hours until you're in Mobile, Alabama tomorrow, and then in Orlando, Florida, here in our home tomorrow night. And so we're excited, and I just impress upon everyone to take everything you've gotten from this call and put it into action. Feet on fire for you to have your business grow by having new people in that event with you. And for the rest of you that have a little bit more time looking at Naples, Florida, and Boca Raton, and then Destin, Florida, and up into Atlanta, you have a few days. And so use that. Use it and know that you do not get this time back. And so, Nathan, thank you so much for being on with us tonight, and this very special team call. That it has been recorded, and so we'll be able to share that on our team Facebook page. But refer to the system. Make sure that you're on One Team Global's email list. Okay, so go to oneteamglobal.com and click on the email list. Make sure you're on that so you're getting the information about the meetings. And then also, our team is using 2 applications for disseminating information on your phone for simplicity, for Ruby calls, for Blue Diamond calls, for the team call, and for events. And those 2 apps you want to download and then send me a message to be added to the group, okay? Download it and enter your information for that, and then send me a message. And the 2 apps are, first, WhatsApp, WHATSAPPS, WhatsApp. Excuse me, it's singular. WhatsApp. Secondly is WeChat, and that's WeChat. We're going to be using both of those apps for easier communication, much easier than text, and we can do large groups. So use those 2 and hit me a message. Again, Nathan Ricks, Team Elite, $20 million circle earner. You've heard him here tonight or on the recording. Use this into your business. Nathan, thank you so much for your time and your energy, and looking forward to having you on tour.
You're welcome. See you tomorrow.
All right. Everybody
Bye-bye.
Make it an incredible evening. I'm going to take the call off you, and please let us know where you're calling in from and who you are so that we can share this incredible energy with all those listeners that may be listening to this on the recording. Make it a great night, everyone. Charlie Patterson from Orlando.
Orlando, Florida. Toronto. Thanks, Charlie and Nathan. Orlando.
Thank you, Nathan and Charlie. Grateful. It's Lana from New York.
Thomas Ashley, Alabama.
Gary,
Thank
Orlando.
you. Monica, Washington.
LA.
Great call, Charlie.
Great call.
Orlando.
San Francisco.
Renee Cotter, Mobile.
Thanks, Charlie. Martin Forster, Orlando.
At Proctor, Salt Lake City.
Sylvia, San Francisco. Thank you.